Hey everybody, well, it is October already, believe it or not, and before you know it, we will be full go into the winter season. So with that, there are some things that we must check and prepare for so we can prevent problems during the wintertime, and even more than that, prevent issues or damage once we roll into the spring. So to those of us that live in a cold weather climate where we see snow and ice, there are 5 things that I'm going to discuss that you must do before every winter season. Now, this picture here was from ice buildup, probably on that tree branch that you can see laying there in the yard. And I'll discuss what we need to do in regard to this a little bit later. There isn't really a whole lot you can do with ice buildup, but melt it. So in this next picture, they're actually shoveling the excess snow off the roof to keep the excess weight from causing a collapse. Thankfully, now they actually make tools that can reach most rooftops, especially if it's a single level home, to scrape off that excess snow so the weight doesn't build up. And lastly, this picture here is what can potentially happen if gutters are not tended to, and I'll also discuss how we can guard against this as well. So the first thing we need to do, if you have conventional gutters, is get them cleaned out. Clogged rain gutters or downspouts can cause damage to your home's foundation, which you definitely don't want, or they can cause ice dams, which can lead to expensive repairs later on into the spring. So once the leaves start falling this year, either do it yourself or hire somebody to clean them out. Also, make sure that the gutters aren't sagging while you're checking them and cleaning them out or trapping any water. Tighten all of your gutter hangers and your downspout brackets, especially if you notice that they're loose, and replace any worn or damaged materials that you can see. You want to prevent this, I'm telling you. The other thing that you can do to help with the ice dams on the roof's edge is install heat cables or find a way to run hot water over the dams to help in melting them. The weight of the ice can actually bend and rip those gutters right off your house. Second thing you gotta do is you gotta inspect your roof. Now, if you're like me and you're a little squeamish with heights, one thing you can actually do is use a pair of binoculars so you can actually look at it. Or you can just hire somebody. You definitely don't want to find out that your roof is leaking after the first snow hits. And there's little things that you can look for that could potentially be problems. You need to check for these following things. First, you need to check for cracked caulk or rust spots that you might see on the flashing. The flashing is the aluminum that goes around all of the roof's edges. You need to check the shingles, make sure they're not buckling, curling, or blistering. Make sure none of them are missing or even broken. You want to check for cracked and worn rubber boots that go around the vent pipe, right where they sit on top of the roof surface there. And also, I'm going to add this little caveat. If you do hire somebody, you're probably going to have to be prepared to pay somewhere between $150 to $300, depending on where you live at in the country. The next thing is inspecting your wood fireplace, if you have one, your wood burning fireplace. So the first thing is you want to do a visual inspection both inside and outside your home. I typically start inside. You want to make sure that your wood burning fireplace is in good shape during the burning season. Carbon monoxide, as we all know, can be a problem, and even allowing the buildup of what's called creosote in the chimney can actually cause issues as well. It can actually cause a fire in the chimney. So you really have to be careful if you have a wood burning fireplace. Gas fireplaces require a lot less maintenance, so this is more towards my wood burning people. If you're inside the house, make sure that the flue damper opens and closes and seals properly. Make sure that there's no combustible materials, things like foreign objects or animal nests or bird's nest in the flue. You can actually kind of lean in there and look, especially during the day. You can see the light from the sky. You should be able to see if there's anything clogging it. Also, make sure that the fireplace surround and the hearth and firebox have no cracked bricks or missing mortar. Now, once you go outside, you want to check for that the chimney cap is present and that it looks good. Make sure, again, there's no bird nest or debris built up around that cap. Make sure there's no tree limbs above or near the chimney, that the mortar and the bricks on the chimney aren't crumbling or missing. This is huge. Make sure that your chimney rises about 2 feet above where it exits the roof. The chimney crown, make sure it's sloping cement shoulders at the top of the chimney, and make sure that they're beveled, which helps the air actually flow better. The flue liner, make sure it's visible above the chimney crown. The chimney, make sure it's plumb and not leaning to one side or the other. And lastly, the roof flashing. Make sure that it looks like it's tight against the chimney, especially if you're checking it from the ground with your binoculars. Next thing is you want to insulate your doors and windows to your home. Now, we really don't pay attention to this. I guess I don't really pay attention to it until it starts to get cold, and you can actually feel that cold air seeping in around those windows and doors. There are some things that you can do other than go out and buy new windows and doors, because I'm telling you, drafts will jack up your energy bill very quick, and fixing these drafts can actually lower your bill. It's been proven by about 20% every month. And for under 10 bucks, here's some options here that I know work actually pretty good. There's this plastic V-seal. It's like a weather stripping. You can put that along the edges or the sides of the window sashes to keep the air from coming in. There's a product they make. It's like a rope caulk. It's kind of soft and sticky and can actually be molded to fill in these gaps. And at the end of the cold season, it pulls out very easily. I love this option. Shrink film, most of us have seen this shrink film. You put double-sided tape around your windows and you use a hair dryer, and it actually shrinks the plastic down to where it's almost drum tight. That also helps keep the cold air out. And lastly, trimming those pesky branches. You all saw the picture at the very beginning with the branch that was laying on the wires and just barely missed this guy's house. People take for granted how important this is, but please pay special attention, especially around the house when it comes to trees. Loose or rotting branches can fall from the weight of snow and even ice, and the last thing you want is this thing falling on your house, especially in the middle of winter. Not that you want it to happen at all, but it would be even more miserable during the wintertime. These branches can even cause excess water to seep into the cracks in your home's roof or siding by just the weight of them scraping and growing into the roof. So take the time to trim or cut down any of these branches that you see could potentially be a problem down the road. So anyway, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section down below. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video, comment on this video, and share this video, because I guarantee you your neighbors are going to want to know what to do too. So I'll see you on the next one. Take care.